Welcome back to Neek the Pull List podcast, the show where Josh and I talk about the comic books that we've been reading. We used to say in like the past 2 weeks or in the past month, but now it's whenever we can because we're busy men and comic books cost money. How you doing, Josh?
I'm doing good. We have to make the money to spend the money. I believe that's the phrase.
100%. But it's not just us today. We have a special guest. I need to let you know how special this guest is, guys. This was me calling back to my past. I was like, I need somebody who I know I can talk to about this comfortably, even though I'm sure we probably talk to each other maybe twice in our entire lives, but I just want people to be like, oh, they know each other so well. I'm fooling you. But introducing the cosplaying black feminist magical queen, Celeste.
Yo, what up?
Hey, Celeste.
Hi.
Thank you so much for being here with us. I really.
Thank you so much for having me. I am honored.
Like, when I say we didn't talk to each other very much, we went to a very large high school. There were a lot of people. Yes. At least that's what I like to tell people because, I was like, I came from St. Louis. I went to a huge high school. Sort of, kind of.
Yeah. Kind of. It's kind of. I think it's one of the smaller ones of all the high schools.
It's definitely one of the smaller.
It can't have been as small as mine. My graduating class was 40 people.
Okay, yeah, so yeah, yours is tiny.
Yep, real tiny. So, there is that. But again, thank you so much for joining us. I really wanted you to be a part of the conversation we're going to have about Riri later on in the show. For those of you who don't know, Riri Williams is one of the new leading ladies in Marvel that has been around for a while but has suddenly spun up into a very popular position that we'll talk about. But before we get to all that, Celeste, this is a comic book show.
Right.
Mostly.
50-50.
50-50, 50% comics, 50% whatever else. So I have to ask you, in recent memory, what is one of your favorite comic books or collected editions that you've read?
Okay, so the favorite would have to be Blackest Night because that was the craziest freaking, series ever.
It's up there. DC, they some of the best stories out there.
Oh my god, serious fangirling moment right there. Oh my god. I remember just sitting up in Borders. See, this is when Borders used to be a thing.
Oh my god, Borders bookstore.
Rest in peace.
Rip in
I know,
peace.
Right?
Rip in peace.
I know. But I would just sit in Borders and just, read for hours. Just, trying to catch... Because, I wouldn't just read Blackest Night. I would read up all the other comic books leading up to that. Mm-hmm. So I read, oh my god, I don't even know how many volumes of Green Lantern, so I just was like, oh my god. I don't even know, but I read, a shit ton, and I thought that Blackest Night was the craziest shit ever because it, included all the DC characters. Wonder Woman became a freaking, what was it, a Violet Lantern? What?
Yeah, DC what? Actually, pulling off an event where it actually affects the entire universe and everybody in it, That
was insane. That was insane. So, I thought that was really cool. But then, so obviously it was Blackest Night, but then I also really liked Saga. And to be honest, I, had to stop reading it because it was so painful.
Oh.
Those two are just the cutest couple. They're the cutest family. And I obviously can't, spoil things here, but they go through some shit.
I mean, Saga's been going on for a long time now.
Yes.
Spoilers are kind of eh.
I guess that's true. I always feel bad, saying stuff about, stuff that someone probably hasn't read yet.
Well, at least you were considerate enough to be like, oh, this might be a spoiler.
Well, yeah, because, this show, is it also just to, recommend comics to people?
Yes, we also recommend comics to people. Yeah. Sometimes we spoil stuff, but we let people know before we spoil it, because, how else are we going to talk about it?
Okay, yeah, I was going to say. But, yeah, I try not to spoil things, because, obviously, especially in my case, I haven't read a lot of comics, so I don't want to get spoiled on things.
But that's okay. This will be the start of a new beginning. Now you're gonna go back and be like, all right, where's the one Barnes and Noble in the Midwest that I can go and read comic books at?
Oh my
Your
god.
eyes have been opened.
I actually have one like near my house.
See, so there you go. I'm gonna give you a list, and you'll be like, all right, I need all of these, and the list will roll down the hall and around the corner.
Yeah, I actually have like I'll just go to Star Clipper, honestly. Like I've gotten in.
Oh, see, there you go. You're good. You
Yeah.
got an in. Well, all right. I guess we will kick into the main part of the show for now, which is what books we've picked up this week. This is a Wednesday, so on Wednesday there are comic books. So for July 6th, Josh, what did you pick up?
I did Green Lanterns #2, Poe Dameron #4, Han Solo #2, Invincible Iron Man 11, X-Men Civil War #2, and I finally got The Flash, the Rebirth one-shot.
That was like 3 weeks ago. Yeah.
My shop keeps selling it. This is like the third time they've gotten it in, I think. I finally got one because I got there when they opened.
Good job.
Like within a half hour of them opening. And, of course, I got my beloved Moon Knight #4. I did not get Amazing Spider-Man. It was completely sold out at my shop.
Oh my gosh.
I got you, though. I got you.
I forgot it, and then I went back, and they were out.
I got you. Don't you worry.
And I have Justice League around here somewhere.
What comic shop do you go to?
I go to Wild West down in Arlington, Texas. So sandwiched right between Dallas and Fort Worth.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, traffic.
Yeah, it's a traffic nightmare.
Oh man.
So, all right, Josh, you picked up kind of like the core books. You know me, I was like, hey, give me all those, plus the ones on my pull list. So, we're gonna split it up. So, for Marvel, like you, I got X-Men #2, Civil War. Finally, I got the book that I've been really excited about, Kingpin #1.
I skipped it because of the $5 price tag.
Yeah, they got me again. I was like, God damn you, Marvel! Please just let me buy comic books for $4 or
$5.
$5. Like they will do this. Like these big #1s will be $5 a book.
Or
And
$6.
Yes, or $6. And it hurts me. And I'm like, please, DC is doing books for $2.99 a piece now.
Right. Oh Lord.
Twice a month, but still, $2.99 makes me feel better. We also have The Amazing Spider-Man #15. With beautiful Mary Jane on the cover.
The infamous Iron Spider issue, if you're not watching this on video.
Nobody's worried about her putting her hair in her mask, but that's a different story. We have The Invincible Iron Man #11.
I mean, it's MJ.
So, yes, it's MJ. I have Sam Wilson Captain America #11.
Ooh.
Yes, it's getting real. I mean, it was already good, but it's getting.
Last issue was fantastic.
Yes, it's getting real good.
So this is your stack that you paid $40 for?
This is half of it.
Oh, half of it! Oh my goodness! Wow.
Totally Awesome Hulk #8. This one snuck out on me. I didn't know this was coming out. So
Okay, how is that? Like for real?
Totally Awesome Hulk is one of my favorite Marvel books currently.
Are you serious?
Seriously, I really like it.
We both made fun of it, and then Ray actually read it and really liked it.
That's exactly what happened. We made fun of it when they announced it. It was like, oh, this is going to be dumb, blah, blah, blah. Banner will be back with it in like a month. No, it's actually really good.
Wow, okay. Yeah, I've been making fun of it for like the longest. Maybe I should get around to reading it then.
Yeah, Amadeus Cho he's more than I bargained for. So that's good. And then last one we'll pick up, like Josh's Bay right now, Moon Knight #4. Friend of the show, artist Greg Smallwood, you my friend.
Yet another phenomenal issue.
You the real MVP, so thank you for that.
Yeah.
Now we go over to DC. I'm sorry, I'm not done.
Lord, I mean, you better have a whole lot spending $40.
DC, I got Batman #2 because I need to find out who the hell these other superpowered people are all of a sudden in the Gotham universe. Green Lanterns #2 because as much as I told Josh, I was like, I'm not reading that book anymore. I have to know more about Jessica, and I care about Jessica. Aquaman #2 because Black Manta is got something cooking up, and I need to know what happens. Justice League Rebirth, #1. They've got the Dream Team going with 2 Green Lanterns, so they're twice as unstoppable, right?
I love me some Jessica.
And then Superman, #2, because I love their family dynamic, and it makes me happy on the inside. So yes, those are all my pickups for today.
God.
Probably looking most forward to Superman and Moon Knight, with Hulk coming in at 3rd.
Okay.
I know that the next issue of Sam Wilson Captain America is it's a doozy.
It's gonna be big.
They're tackling police brutality, which I'm like, good. So I'm excited to see that.
Yeah, for anybody who's been kind of on the fence, like Ray and I were not huge fans of Sam Wilson Cap.
Not in the beginning, but now.
I liked last issue. I did eventually pick it up. It's a very touching issue, and no spoilers for it. But if you've read the beginning of the Civil War arc, I strongly recommend picking it up. That and this current issue are both tie-ins.
Mm-hmm.
And this issue gets. I read it in the comic shop today, even though I didn't buy it. I was reading it.
Previews.
Previews, and I got it also kind of described to me by one of the managers at Wild West, and it's going to be a deep book. It's definitely not. If you don't want to think in your comics, don't pick it up.
Right. This one is more like this. These are more So I say these, and because I'm packaging Nighthawk and Sam Wilson in kind of the same, because they're both.
Nighthawk is also another phenomenal.
They're both tackling police brutality right now, so they're both sort of politically charged, but I think it's something that people should read. These are like current issues. Comic books normally do tackle current issues more, to disbelief. That's what comic books do sometimes. But definitely check those out.
Yeah.
So, those are all my pulls for the week. Josh, favorites?
I mean, Moon Knight is far and away the best one I picked up this week. I've read all of them except for Flash and Justice League. Lanterns is kind of faltering. It's faltering a little bit. It's not the one shot I thought was incredible, and then it hasn't really kept the momentum going. I'll give it a few more issues. Mm-hmm. But Han Solo is the surprise #2, I think. It's absolutely beautiful art, and it's a Han Solo tale through and through. I'm definitely excited to hear more about what Marvel has coming in the Star Wars pipeline. We'll be finding out in the next 2-3 weeks with Celebration and San Diego Comic-Con happening within the next 3 weeks. I really want to know what they're going to do in the lead up to Rogue One, Episode 8, and the Han Solo film. Really, really excited for that. They've done nothing but justice outside of the Chewbacca comic to the Star Wars franchise. I want to get out of the whole, this is between episodes 4 and 5. That's where almost all these comics have been. It's getting way too clogged. I'd rather see a novel or two instead of a bunch of comics. Let's explore, between 5 and 6, what were the heroes doing without Han? Let's explore, what was Princess Leia doing before episode 4? What was... we already got the Lando one, which I thought was fantastic. I'd love to see a sequel series. How did he infiltrate Jabba's palace? Let's do some of the more obscure characters even. There's a whole lot more to do in that universe than just 3 years between 4 and 5. Darth Vader, of course, is coming to an end soon. There's just, it's just so untapped. But they've already done more justice than Dark Horse had for probably the last decade. With the franchise. Even though Dark Horse did give us classics like Dark Empire, it's been nothing short of amazing. The art, the writers, these are writers that get really invested. Charles Soule is practically permanently Star Wars at this point, which let him do it. He knows what he's doing with these characters. That's true. And like you said, the book is beautiful. So also, Justice League was kind of a letdown for me. Was not a big fan of Justice League. After going from Jeff Johns to the new writer, I think it's Brian Hitch, it didn't come off very well for me. The execution was really poor. And Simon is still a douchebag like he is in Lanterns. I can't stand Simon. I can't. No, there's literally a scene where Barry Allen compliments Jessica Cruz and was like, Jessica, you were awesome. Like, literally, that's the exact dialogue. Jessica, you were awesome. And Simon's like, I'm standing right here.
Oh my god.
He literally says, I'm standing right here.
Oh, Simon.
And it already makes me not want to read that book. I don't want to deal with his whiny ass the whole time.
I remember I told you this. I was like, I was not feeling him in the beginning. I bought this book because Jessica is still in it.
Yep.
But there's only so much more I can take.
Hurry up and make him a Red Lantern, please.
Please, dude, like, get him out of here, or cripple him and like be like, well,
oh my god!
Be a nicer person, because this is what happened to you when you're a jerk in comic books.
Well,
oh my god!
That's what would have happened in Marvel.
Yeah,
DC might just kill him.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, making you paralyzed or something doesn't make you a nicer person at all, or
no, it won't.
Also, and then like
that's what you get, Simon back. I know that's terrible.
I mean, I was gonna say, like, Babs didn't deserve what happened to her, but
that's true. But but it also, that was them saying, we don't know what to do with this character. What should we do? So there's a long history.
I still don't think they know what to do.
No, they don't. They really don't. But now that we've talked about our pulls for the week and talking about what we would love to happen to Simon Baz, let's talk about our topic of the week. So, this week, we got some really interesting news. And when I say interesting, I mean, like, to me, like some of the best news.
Yeah.
So, Riri Williams, she showed... See, exactly. She showed up in Invincible Iron Man early on. They showed that she was building her own set of Iron Man armor in her dorm room. Let me tell you that.
That's pretty freaking amazing.
That's amazing. I was like, that's literally like, the origin story of Iron Man, except modern day.
Yeah.
I was like, this is awesome. We didn't really know much about her at that point. We knew that we knew her name was Riri. We knew that she was at school at MIT. And she built a suit of Iron Man armor in her room, and that was it.
I mean, how amazing is that you see a black woman at MIT?
Seriously. But then we find out that she's 15 years old.
15!
I love that dynamic, but I also love that it's like, it's almost a modern retelling of the Iron Man story without Tony Stark. The MIT parallel, the building the suit of armor from basically scrap. It's an amazing story, and she's had so much character development in less than a year.
Yeah, more so than most people in the current storylines, which is strange, but also awesome.
Well, I mean, that's indicative of Bendis' strengths as a writer also. So remember, he did this with Miles Morales. When he came out, a lot of people were like, why are we replacing Peter Parker in the Ultimate Universe? And Miles quickly became a fan favorite of the entire Marvel Universe.
Yeah.
But that's not even the best part, guys. So Riri is suiting up in the Invincible Iron Man #1, meaning they're relaunching the series with Marvel now, and she's the leading lady for the Invincible Iron Man book. So of course the internet exploded. Oh my God, what's happening? Where's Tony Stark? Besides him being on the cover. Didn't even give him a chance to kind of really explain, because this was part of the reason, because we talked a little bit before the show about how I was like, all right, I'm a little mad at the marketing department at Marvel, because they're like, yeah, we have this big Civil War II storyline going on, but here's this, and it's kind of like a spoiler in itself for what's happening at the end of Civil War II. It's like, but Stark is very prevalent in this, but then all of a sudden he's gone. So I either assume the worst, which is he's dead, or he leaves. Thanks for ruining that for me.
I mean, Bendis came out and tried to do damage control within about an hour or two of it, swearing that just because they showed off the cover for Invincible Iron Man #1 doesn't mean that you know the ending to Civil War II, which he's also writing. And last time we heard this was from Nick Spencer, like, oh, well, Cap's not really, Cap's permanently Hydra.
Oh my God, yeah.
And if you read #2, watch how fast that changes and literally goes to what all of us thought.
Oh my God, yeah.
I mean, and you're right, this isn't the first time it's happened, because remember, Josh, do you remember what book came out before Secret Wars ended?
Which, Spider-Gwen?
No, Invincible Iron Man, which ruined a big twist.
Oh, right. Okay, sorry. I thought you meant before Secret Wars started. Yeah, it ended. It ruined the ending.
It really did. And so I'm like, these are people not communicating within a big company. So I was like,
Right.
all right, I'm not too happy about that. But before we go forward, like Celeste, how'd you feel about seeing Riri, with the Iron Man helmet and the core for Iron Man? How did that make you feel?
Absolutely freaking excited. Like the moment I saw that, I was like, okay, time to get back into comics. Let's do this. Let's do this. And that is the point. That's why
That is the point, exactly.
That's why they
Right.
did it. It's because they want people like me, a black girl, to get into comic books. And just the fact that like this isn't some one-off too is very exciting to me. That she's already been in the comic book universe. I think you said that she's been in it for a year or so. That's super exciting.
Yes, yeah.
They didn't just like come up with this chick all of a sudden, just like, hey, she's the new Iron Man. It's like, no, she's established.
Mm-hmm.
She is smart as hell.
Very smart.
And I think that's going to be really exciting to watch her as Iron Man.
Right. I mean, it's just, and you hit it right.
And the fact that she has natural hair. That's amazing too. I mean, now I've heard some people talk about how they're kind of sick of it because anytime you see a black woman in like comic books, she always has the afro. But who cares? I'm sorry. She's 15 years old and she's wearing her natural hair. Do you know how odd that is? I don't know any 15-year-old except for like my little sister who has natural hair.
Right. So I mean, this is representation matters.
Yes,
it
absolutely.
matters so hard.
Yes.
And I was like, yeah, they're like, well, why didn't they just make Misty Knight the new Iron Man? Because I'm like, Misty Knight is Misty Knight. What don't you get about that? Like, Misty Knight is who she is. Like, Riri is an original character.
Yes.
That was made to fill this role. It's not like they just, brought up. I feel like they'd be more upset if they just brought up Misty Knight and all of a sudden she was Iron Man.
Right. I mean, I honestly would have been offended by that, I think.
See?
And that's just, like we've said multiple times in this show, one of my all-time favorite hero, my 3 top heroes ever are Iron Man, Moon Knight, and Hawkeye. So the character of Tony Stark particularly is very important to me.
Mm-hmm.
And I love that a C-level character essentially became the leading face of an entire universe and a multi-billion-dollar franchise.
Yeah.
Nobody cared about Tony Stark before Civil War. Don't even lie. Nobody cared.
Nobody. Like, before the Avengers even became like a thing, nobody cared.
Yeah.
Right. Nobody cared until Civil War in the comics community, and then it took Robert Downey Jr. to make him popular beyond the comics.
Right.
And he's quietly had some of the very best stories in the universe over the last decade. Matt Fraction's incredible run. Bendis is doing him a lot of justice. We got through all of Secret Wars without Tony Stark. It was amazing. And this happening feels completely organic. Riri is a character that was introduced by Brian Michael Bendis into Invincible Iron Man. We just thought she was going to take over as War Machine. Even the key art last week for Marvel Now showed her front and center in the War Machine armor and Victor Von Doom holding the helmet. There's almost certainly going to be 2 Iron Man books going on. Her is Invincible Iron Man. Victor Von Doom is Superior Iron Man.
That's what it's looking like.
Mark it down. Both of those are going to be must-read titles for different reasons. And what happens to Tony? Does he die? Does he get retired? I was sharing this with Ray this morning as the Riri news came out that this is happening about a year or two sooner than I thought it was going to. I thought for sure it would happen with Infinity War. Like, okay, he doesn't have to be the face of it anymore. Let's get rid of him. But this is also indicative of the moves Marvel's been making for several years now. Bruce Banner is no longer the Hulk.
Yeah.
Thor Odinson is no longer Thor.
Yeah.
And Miles Morales is the leading Spider-Man, and quite frankly, the better Spider-Man right now. Kamala Khan is the better Miss Marvel.
Agreed.
It's amazing to see all these, basically somebody not a white male be these characters. And that's without even including Sam Wilson as Captain America, probably the biggest change.
Yeah.
This is a change on par with Sam Wilson becoming Cap. I hope that it's a permanent change and they don't double back in a year. Superior Spider-Man made sense to that. Superior Iron Man made sense. Don't do it. It looks like Tony's going to be the AI instead of Friday now.
That's what made me really happy because people were like, well, what does that even mean? Why is Tony Stark like he's not even going to be in it? I'm like, if you literally look at this image, Tony Stark looks like Friday as the AI hologram.
So for me, that's a big callback to Fraction's run when Tony's brain was connected to the internet because of Extremis. and he had he had to reboot his brain. I think they're going to go back. That's something that hasn't been touched on in several years. If they go back to that, and then he's the AI guiding Riri, he's essentially becoming Jarvis from the movies. And that is such an incredible change. It's a bold move. It really is. Not just to instill Riri, but to get rid of Tony Stark in a physical form, which is what it's looking like. Whether that means he dies or he's just, retired, quote unquote, becomes like Old Man Cap or something.
Right.
Either way, I think that it's a big deal, and they're not immune to killing off major characters. Logan was killed off 2 years ago and is still gone.
Yep.
Sure, they cheated with doing Old Man Logan, and they'll cheat here if they do kill him off. It's looking like they will kill Tony Stark. You're doing that to the character that is literally the face of your entire brand. I will support you every single time. Bruce Wayne disappeared for a while in Batman, and it was Jim Gordon. Not as drastic of a change, but definitely not something we expected. And it ended up being a pretty solid arc. I can't wait for this. What this means is for comics in a larger sense.
Yeah.
I mean, because think about it. Like 6 years ago, had you said, "Hey Ray, let me tell you this," like if somebody came from the future, was like, "Hey Ray, look, I need you to know this. First off, Sam Wilson is Captain America.
I'd laugh.
Thor is Jane Foster.
Amadeus Cho is the Hulk.
Yeah.
And now there's this girl named Riri Williams who was Iron Man. I would have been like, what the hell are you talking about? That makes zero sense. That's so dumb. But it's probably one of the most diverse mainline comic books that we've had in a long time, if ever. There's so much diversity. And, I honestly, I'm going to tell you right now, I don't want to hear anybody say, there's no diversity in comic books. They need a whole bunch of diversity. There's plenty of diverse characters. What we need is more people of color writing these books.
Agreed.
Writing for these companies.
Yes.
Exactly.
There's plenty of diversity. We just need more diversity on our side, in real life.
You see how excited people got when Ta-Nehisi Coates was... when it was revealed he was going to write Black Panther, that instantaneously became Ray and I's most anticipated book maybe ever.
I mean, can you tell them, like, Josh, I don't even know if I can translate to them how excited I was when I found that out.
No, I will at least once or twice a week from the time it was announced until the first issue came out, Ray and I would be like, oh my God, it's happening. Like a person who's actually, like he writes about social justice for a living is going to be writing the Black Panther book. This is, and he doubled down on it today and said, Arc 1 is ending in April next year. I plan to write this for years to come.
And I'm so excited because it's so good.
That's really significant. It's really significant that he's doing Black Panther, but I would almost say it would be better if he was writing another character that wasn't of color, if that makes sense. You don't have to be... I think the myth that you have to be the color of the character you're writing is so bogus.
Yeah.
And like people jump to the extremes is what happens in these situations.
Yes.
It's like, okay, Bendis has written some amazing characters. He wrote Jessica Jones. Think about that.
Yeah.
Jessica Jones, Miles Morales.
An amazing female character. Miles Morales, an amazing Hispanic, like, African-American
he's
character. He's mixed. He's great. I love Miles Morales. And, and they're like, well, he shouldn't be writing this because, he's not black and he's not a woman. I'm like, if that's the way we're going to do this, like, there's a lot of things I shouldn't be doing. First off, if they had it their way, most of those black people wouldn't be doing anything they were doing right now.
True that.
Just so you know.
True that.
But it's just like we can't jump to those extremes when we see kind of like these shifts in creativity that we don't like because we're not being represented. But in a sense, we are being represented because they want to feature us. You know?
Yeah.
I mean, like I said before, I would love if there was a black woman writing Riri. That would be incredible. In a perfect world,
oh my God.
In a perfect world, that's exactly what I want. I want a black woman writing for Riri, just like I have a black man writing for Black Panther.
Right.
But that's not, and it's not. But this is what we have, and they are portraying her in such a positive and strong light that I don't know how you could really be upset about this. I mean, I understand that people are upset, and you're equally fine to be upset if you are. I don't understand why you are, but
I think it's just the lack of diversity in general. I don't know. I mean, I guess there are people out there that are upset that, a white dude or something is writing for, people of color or for a woman, but just the fact that they even exist is good.
Right. And I mean, that's great, and it's not technically enough, but it's great
It's not,
in
but,
its own
but
right.
we're getting there. We're getting somewhere.
Exactly. We're getting somewhere. Progress is the word I'm looking for.
That's why, I'm not trying to undervalue Ta-Nehisi Coates writing Black Panther. That's a huge deal. I don't mean to come across as a horrible person by saying, oh, it's not that big of a deal that he's writing. It is a huge deal because I think him writing it, somebody as respected as he is, a Pulitzer Prize winner journalist, is writing a comic book and saying this is his dream project to do. I think that's going to make younger writers and artists say, I can do what he does. If he can do this when he's writing about real world issues, I can write a comic book with these characters. I can come up with these new characters. And for every single person out there who is complaining, well, why do you have to retool our classic heroes from our childhood? Why can't you just make new heroes? Not a single damn one of you support new characters when they bring them in.
And you don't. And
so don't say that you do. Every one of you better be buying Mosaic. You better be buying some of these other characters that are coming out this fall. You better be reading these diverse books like Inhumans and Avengers. You better be reading every one of those if you're complaining about not getting original characters and stuff. Jane Foster is a completely different character than Thor Odinson.
And I mean, I want to say this. It's just like you're like, oh well, we're not represented. I mean, like. I hate when people say, "Oh, well, where are all the black women at? Where are all the black men at? Where are they writing? What are they doing?" They exist. They just exist in other mediums. They have there are indie comics, there are web comics, there are people who work for just companies that aren't as mainstream as these, like Boom and other ones. They exist. They're out there doing their thing. You just need to support them.
Right. True. But then the thing is that we're trying to get them into mainstream media. There needs to be more black people in mainstream media. There needs to be more women in mainstream media.
I mean, you look at DC, and DC's two most prominent Green Lanterns right now are Jessica Cruz and Simon Baz. Both minorities. One of them is a woman. Like that for Green Lantern. I mean, Green Lantern's always kind of pushed that, right? With Jon Stewart and even what's his name? Kyle Rayner. Kyle Rayner, one of the first openly, gay characters in comics. It's a huge deal that Green Lantern is one of those that pushes for it. Why can't Captain America? Why can't Thor? Why can't, Amadeus Cho being the Hulk is a huge deal. That's a Korean American character. There's so many that were like, I cried when that happened. Just like I know there's a lot of people who are going to get emotional over Invincible Iron Man. There's a lot of people who got emotional over Sam Wilson finally becoming Cap. Miles Morales was a huge deal. If nobody listening to this remembers that, there was so much controversy around Spider-Man being a person of mixed origin. But that has been one of the best decisions Marvel has made in the last 15 to 20 years.
He's one of the best characters that they have currently.
Yes.
I don't know. We live in this literally. I think this is a golden time for comic books because now you're getting different stories from different points of view. You're getting different experiences from people from different walks of life. Like we haven't brought up a single time, but Kamala Khan. Miss Marvel.
Oh my God, yeah, she's amazing. And the fact that they speak their language in the comic.
In the book.
Amazing.
Yeah, a Muslim American. It's incredible.
And I've told the story before on the show. It's just I was afraid to start reading that book because I was afraid that I wouldn't be able to relate or to connect with the character.
I related instantly.
But that didn't stop me from reading it because then I fell in love with her. And
oh my God, I love her.
I love it. It's so good. It's just we live in such a time where there are so many different experiences.
I love that she's not a stereotype.
Exactly. That's exactly right. She's not a stereotype. She's great.
Yeah.
None of these characters are. That's the craziest part.
And we can experience that by just picking up a book. Isn't that crazy? I feel like we should be happy that we could do that. It's just not that, I can pick up all these books and they're like, they're with people that look like me, or they can see all these books that people that aren't like me. It's like, everybody is getting represented in some form or fashion. I think that's amazing.
Agreed.
Because like I said, I don't think we've ever been in a time where something like that actually happened.
Yeah, and you get more readers. You get so many more readers when your characters are Black, Asian, Muslim, women. You know, it's not just the same white men.
Right, you can relate to them.
Exactly.
Everybody can relate to them. I mean, even as a white male, like I find myself relating to. I remember my teenage years, relating to Miles Morales on that level, relating to Kamala Khan on that level.
Right.
You know,
because would you say it's not about their skin color, but about the problems in life that they face? And
right,
that they
it absolutely is.
Yeah.
I mean, skin color, and see, it's easy for me to say this. That skin color is a secondary issue. I've as a white male, I've always been represented in comics, always.
Yeah.
I don't know what that's like, but still, every time I see these titles, I get. Ray will tell you, I get so excited because these are. I mean, the title, like Captain America, the title Iron Man, that's just a name. Anybody can fill that. And these comics are proving that. These movies are starting to prove that.
I was just talking about that with my wife earlier. I was like, I don't understand why because I was extremely confused. I'm like, I don't see why people are so upset. Iron Man is the suit. Tony Stark is the man.
Right. Agreed. That is the thing.
It's not like they're going and making Tony Stark Hispanic or something.
Right, exactly.
Like, if you did that, then yes, you have a right to complain. We should not be changing characters' ethnicities. Okay,
Right.
That's just because it's popular, Yeah, don't do that.
But changing the Captain America becoming a black man is amazing. Like, that is organic storytelling right there, and it's Sam Wilson who's been his sidekick for decades.
One of the best African American superheroes ever
is now Captain America.
Captain America.
That should show you the world and the reality we live in, that now we can do that. 30 years ago, that would never have been approved, ever. I don't care who was in charge. I don't care if Stan Lee himself was signing off. That wouldn't have sold. Nobody would have bought that. Now, though, in today's day and age, it doesn't matter. You see a comic book, oh, this looks good. I'm going to pick it up and read it. Black Panther is the #1 book right now.
Yep. Beating Batman and
1,000 issues. Black Panther.
Yep.
Amazing. That's the time we live in, and we should be excited about that.
Absolutely.
I wanted this to be kind of like a celebratory episode. Like, I wanted us to celebrate Riri because Riri is a feat of, like we said earlier, progress.
Yes.
Like, I can't.
I would definitely agree with that, especially because you don't see a lot of black women in comic books. Especially not on the front cover.
Right. I mean, they're, in the background, off to the side.
Right. I can probably count on, like, maybe 2 hands all the black women in comics.
Yeah, like prominent ones that aren't villains.
Right, that aren't villains.
Stereotypes.
Exactly. Yes. I honestly, I don't even know if I can count on 2 hands fully.
Like, outside of Storm, really, when's the last time we can say that we saw that?
Like in their own book, exactly. That's why this is a big deal to me.
Right.
She would beat everybody else.
Well, I guess Vixen had her own thing, but she's not popular as Storm.
Can we start campaigning to call Riri Iron Maiden?
That'd be great. I just want her to come up with her own badass name, but I know it's gonna have iron in it.
I know. Yeah.
And I mean, that's okay though to me, because that's keeping the superhero identity while becoming her own person.
Well, I mean, and that's also the way for them to keep selling the book with the name Iron in it, so that they keep that up there somehow.
It is. I mean, just like Miles Morales was Spider-Man, and still is. Thor is Thor. Hulk is Hulk. It makes sense, but you don't call her Iron Man.
Yeah, she's not. She's not a man. She's not even a woman. In fact, she's a girl.
She's a girl. Yeah, she's
right.
That was one of the issues that I had with, like, the I guess the marketing. I don't know about the marketing, but when people were announcing it, they were saying that a black woman is Iron Man. It's
a lot of the articles. I was like, hold up, wait a minute.
A woman. She's a girl.
That's a girl.
15.
She's 15. You can clearly tell who has and has not read these comics.
Right. Yeah. And so that was a little bit annoying to me, and a little bit kind of going back to sexualizing black women. It was kind of odd calling her that. And then just, like, her face, like, her body looks like a 15-year-old, but her face is very much like
mature.
A 25-year-old. Like, she has like, makeup on. I was like, okay, this does not look like a 15-year-old little girl.
And I think that's part of that's that weird thing. The artists in comic books, they're like, well, I don't. If, like, I could. This is me not making excuses. Like, well, maybe I don't know how to draw a 15-year-old girl.
Then you shouldn't draw it.
Exactly.
Then you shouldn't be the artist.
Because I think about Moon Girl. And Moon Girl looks like a little girl because she is.
Right.
This girl isn't very much older than Moon Girl, I don't think.
Right.
So I was like, well, there is that sexualized, like there's that discrepancy there was like maybe you guys need to kind of take a step back and be like, well, should we think about this a little bit more? Which I think they should because
I
yeah,
think
you're
so.
right. She looks super mature
Way
for
too old.
15 years old.
Way too old.
I
Yeah. When I
fully
first saw
expected
it, when I first saw her, I was just kind of like, wait, she's 15?
Exactly.
Like, please tell me that's a joke.
Yeah, I was like, okay, because this looks like a grown woman.
Right.
Like some of my classmates I had my last year of college. It's crazy, but ultimately, like the far-reaching consequences of this book, the positive consequences, I think this has the potential because it bears the Iron Man name still, even with a brand new protagonist. It could draw in as many. When Miles Morales debuted, that was a huge bestseller, remained a bestseller until it ended. Spider-Man is still one of the best-selling books at Marvel. Black Panther, we just talked about how insane those sales are. That's like Secret Wars level numbers right there. That's like Star Wars #1 level. And I think that this relaunch of Iron Man with Riri as the lead has the potential to be up there because Ray made a really good point earlier. I'm going to take your point. If they had simply kept her as War Machine,
It's fine.
like we've seen her in the comics, she's been War Machine. It was implied in the key art for Marvel now that she was going to be War Machine. It would not have been a big deal. Nobody would have batted a freaking eye because she was, spoilers for, Civil War, she was probably saying Rhodey. It would not have changed a thing because, it's just a female War Machine instead.
Right.
Her being Iron Man, so, and we cannot emphasize this, it's so significant.
Yeah. She's not somebody's sidekick.
Exactly.
She's not a sidekick. She's going to be her own hero at
She
15.
gets a sidekick.
Right.
Right.
That's important.
It's going to be amazing, and she joins this trend of seeing these heroes that we love being, Miss Marvel, Miles Morales, even Nova and Amadeus Cho can be put in there. These, the young X-Men that came through, like making these heroes young and relatable again to their target audiences. Who cares if a whole bunch of 40 to 50-year-old white men get upset at this?
Yeah.
Like, comics need to be more progressive. That's one of the last mediums where things are not being pushed, and they finally are now. Like, yes, we're rechristening some of these beloved characters, and there's nothing wrong. Again, it's just a name. But if we're going to do this and you're going to support these, you've got to support the original characters they're trying to put out, too, at the same time. And that doesn't mean go read the 15 Deadpool books or the 15 books featuring, like, Harley Quinn saying, oh, but it's a female-led book. Like, no, when they do original characters, you got to support those, too. You've got to support these. We brought up Mosaic earlier. Ray mentioned one that I know almost nobody has read, myself included, until they reprinted it in Timely, Moon Girl and Double Dinosaur.
Exactly.
We got to support these original properties as much as we champion these great legendary characters, Captain America, the Hulk, and all those being rechristened with new leads. Okay, we got to be willing to buy these original stories also. We got to be willing to help support those so that they may one day reach that pinnacle 30, 40 years down the line. My kids may be reading that. I want my kids to grow up in a world where they don't know anything other than comics being diversified. I don't want them to grow up like I did, seeing like, oh, everybody's a 20-something-year-old white man with perfect abs and hair. Not everyone looks like Gambit or Cyclops from the 90s where you can like practically see their nipples coming through the suit. So, like, that's not how this is supposed to be.
Those nipples are just like diamonds.
Comics are supposed to be representative of events going. Wait, they're supposed to represent the modern age. They're, yes, they're fantastical stories we go to get away, but they're supposed to be startling doses of reality. Black Panther is one of those. Nighthawk. Sam Wilson is starting to get. Sam Wilson was a fun book. It's starting to get pretty serious now. Even Miles Morales kind of dances in a little bit of that, and they're not the only books. I mean, Vision is dealing with some of that. Vision's book is literally about him and a family of visions. It's
a robot family. Come on.
Yeah, how is that, by the way? I walked to buy that when I was in a Star Clipper, and I was like, what is this?
One of the weirder books, but
it's delightfully bizarre.
Okay.
That's a good point. Delightfully bizarre is the best way to put that.
We get so many of these stories, and just the comics are starting to relate to us more and more. Yes, we'll always have fantastical events that allow us to escape. The Secret Wars, Avengers versus X-Men, it's fighting a Nihilus. Like, those are always goofy tales that we get. But at the end of the day, we're supposed to relate to these characters. How am I supposed to relate to... How am I supposed to relate to these characters that are 20, 30 years older than me and just goof off all the time? Like, I'd rather get more books featuring, younger heroes because that's who I am. I'm a 24-year-old guy. Like, I want to read books that are, I don't care that my favorite books star teenagers. Like, who cares?
Yeah.
Black Panther is an African prince, but we can still relate to his book better than most of these other ones.
King. King. He's an African king.
Okay.
Oh, yes.
King, prince, whatever.
But yeah, so Josh, I hate to say it, but I'm gonna let that be your closing thoughts on that.
That's fine.
Celeste, your closing thoughts on all of this?
My closing thoughts on all of this: representation matters, absolutely. Not just to get more readers, I guess, but it's also for the people who have always been reading comic books. I know I've been reading comic books ever since I can remember. That's how I learned to read. And it just feels so good to see someone that looks like me.
That's super important. God, I always tell people when I first found out about Black Panther and how excited I was.
Oh, God, yeah.
I was like, you mean he looks like me? And
yes.
He's a superhero?
Yes. And that's just good for self-esteem as well. It's like we're not just thugs. We're not just, booty shakers. We can be kings. We can be queens. We can be crazy, super smart superheroes,
Yes, Blue Marvel, my boy.
Oh, Blue Marvel. Miss America. I mean...
Miss America. God, Spectrum. Yes, there's so many. So, if you're ever like, well, but Ray, I don't know any of them. Talk to me, please. I will give you lists of people that you can go read about. But, yeah, Celeste, if that's what you got.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, so like piggybacking off of what you said, yes, representation matters so much.
Yeah. And
I know that there are people who don't understand why this matters so much to people who don't look like them. But hey, I mean, that's okay as long as you're willing to understand why this is important to other people.
Right. Yeah.
It's very important for everybody to be kind of represented in every medium. I don't care what it is, and every people deserve to be represented because it's relatable. It makes us feel like people.
Exactly. It's a good change of pace as well. Just seeing Black people as villains for so long, it's just very tiring.
Right.
It's a very nice, cool breath of fresh air to see someone that's the hero.
Exactly. And I love that this is the day and age where I can see a Black guy saving the day and everybody's like, oh my God, is he trying to rob those people? No, he's saving them. Just so you know. But thank you. This has been a phenomenal episode. This has been great. I feel like Riri has a place in the Marvel Universe.
Yes.
I'm really excited to see where she goes and what happens with her and what happens with Tony because I feel like Tony could be some kind of like a mentor for her because I mean they're both geniuses,
Right.
And I'm interested to see how she kind of learns and grows because she's so young. She has a lot of space to grow as a hero.
Right.
So
it's really nice to see him pass the torch on to her.
Yes, exactly.
No offense, Tony, but you old. You old.
You old, Tony.
I'm interested to see, because inevitably, since she's so young, they'll bring the other younger heroes into this at some point.
Mm-hmm.
I'm very interested to see the first interaction she has with Miles Morales and Kamala.
Oh my
especially.
God! Don't even.
I'm very excited to see that because they're leaving the Avengers and striking out on their own along with Amadeus and
the champions.
Cyclops. Yeah, the champions, which we just got the title of this week after Ray and I prayed to the gods, every god in existence.
It would be Fantastic Four. I was hoping it would be called the new Fantastic Four. It would have been
Marvel let us down again.
Yep. Then they added 5.
I'm very, very interested to see the inevitable crossover where Riri will come into that book.
Yep.
It's just, Ray said it earlier, it's the golden age of comic books. Yeah. And you may not like every title that comes out, that's fine. We're not asking you to buy every title, but be supportive of those who enjoy this stuff.
Yes.
I mean, enjoy what you're going to enjoy. I like to use the show as hey, I think you should check this out. But if you don't want to, don't. It's
right.
money.
Read what tickles your fancy.
But don't hate on people who enjoy stuff that you don't. Don't do that.
Yeah.
I like, hey, I can enjoy this book all day long, and if you enjoy that book all day long, hey, that's up to you. You can enjoy Venom Space Knight all you want, but if I don't want to read it, I'm not going to read it. But it's okay, I read it. It's fine. All right, so I think that's all we got for this episode of Neek the Pull List podcast. Thank you so much to our guest Celeste for being on here and talking with us about this.
Thank you so much for having me.
You were fantastic. You are welcome to come back on the show anytime you want.
Aw, thanks, guys.
And now I want you to tell people how to find you. What do you do? Tell just all the self-promotion. Go for it.
I cosplay, so please find me on Facebook under Soba Noodles Cosplay. It is SOBANOODLEZ cosplay. I will be at Anime Midwest this weekend, and I'm also going to be at a Natsucon later this month. So, yeah, keep a lookout for me.
Awesome. And you know where to find me. I'm at Ray Apollo on Twitter. Josh is at
Josh_Finn. That's 2 N's.
And there's two N's, like the cool Finn. And you know where to find Neek the Podcast. Neek the Podcast, everyone on the internet. You find us Neek, ! The Podcast, or, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Instagram. Do we have a Reddit yet? We don't have a Reddit yet.
No, we're not big enough for Reddit.
We also don't have a Pinterest, because I know that now. It's all right. But Neek the Podcast records almost every Sunday, sometimes when we can, because there's 4 of us and schedules are ridiculous.
Yeah.
So listen to the main show. Listen to this show. Listen to the Anime F-Bomb. We got a lot of stuff for you to listen to, and we have a good time. So once again, thank you for listening to this episode. I hope you enjoyed that conversation. If you want to be a part of the conversation, feel free to message me or Josh, as long as you're not asking me how she fits her hair in her helmet, because I will cuss you out. Thank you so much.
In a world of superheroes, aliens, and mystical powers, that's your question?
Please see yourself out. I'd appreciate that.
You're dismissed.
You are very much dismissed. Again, thank you for listening to our show. Thanks again for Celeste being here to talk with us about this.
Thanks again, guys.
Of course, anytime, like I said. Make sure you keep those pull lists full, and we'll see you next time. Tell the folks.
Bye-bye.
Bye, listeners.